DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Match number 3 coming up very shortly here at day 2 of the DreamHack Open in Tour for 2018. Welcome back, everybody, to the wonderful France. You can see, well, you just saw on screen some amazing images of the locale we are in. It's a really, really nice place to be, and it's a pleasure to be back here once again. And, of course, be joined by Blair and Natu. What's going on, my friends?
All Gucci, all Gucci. Looking forward to for a good game, honestly.
Yes, exactly. We are approaching Gambit versus AGO. Now, do you think this is going to be a competitive matchup or a more one-sided affair?
It's going to be closer. Much closer than the first 2 games, for sure.
Yeah, the cool thing about this matchup is that these teams share similarities in what they favor in the map pool. So I think, you know, we'll end up in maps that are going to be something that both teams are going to be comfortable on.
Indeed, I don't see them going for any crazy bans, like trying to ban your opponent's better maps. I think it's going to be Overpass Train coming out for sure. The big question mark being the 3rd map that could be up for a toss. So yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-mapper. I'm just going to say it out here. It's going to be a very close game.
Well, let's get the group which these teams are in up on screen now. It's Group A, and we can see exactly how we've gotten into the position we are at the moment. So Gambit, double overtime versus Torqued, went forward to play Godsent, who beat AGO. Godsent made directly through to playoffs. Earlier today, AGO fell to Torqued, and Torqued fell to AGO, and now we see Gambit square off against them. Okay, so let's talk about Gambit and who are going to be the players to watch out for when they're going up against AGO.
For Gambit, I mean, it has to be Mo, right? Like, if you're talking about, if you're going to be expecting Train and Overpass to be coming out, which I strongly believe is going to be the case, Mo was pretty solid yesterday, right? Just the fact that the rest of the team didn't quite step up to the plate, so to speak. But I think Mo is going to be instrumental. And at the same time, Adrian, he was good, but he wasn't really, you know, the showstopper, so to speak.
I'm going to take another approach to this and say Dosha, just because you got to look out for, first of all, the good things, but also dumb things sometimes. Unfortunately, just going to be honest here, he makes these pushes where that might not lose a round for his team necessarily, but he pushes in once the, let's say, their T side, the bomb's already ticking quickly, and he takes his extra peek, he loses a weapon, his team ends up with 2 weapons only in the following round. They'll have to drop weapons to their teammates, putting them in jeopardy of resetting their economy, and they might, you know, snowball themselves into horrible situations. Unfortunately, sometimes we see him do that kind of stuff. So, I guess in a sense, he's a player to watch from that perspective.
Which maps can we expect to see Gambit try to squeeze out of the veto, and also which can we expect from AGO?
I think Inferno's going to go out for Gambit, right? They should be getting rid of Inferno immediately off the back. And for AGO, I would like them to remove Nuke. That's the thing with AGO. They have a pretty damn good map pool, right, considering they're one of the underdogs in this tournament. So I'll let them take out Nuke, because Nuke is a map that Gambit's pretty comfortable on, and historically AGO haven't done that great on it. Gambit can upset or can do something on Nuke. So I'd see Nuke and Inferno going out early on, and then Overpass and Train being picked. And the final map, I think that's up for grabs. I'm not really sure about that.
You've had some pretty accurate veto predictions so far. Natu, we're going to see them start to come up on screen, beginning with a ban from AGO against Nuke, as Blair just mentioned.
Overpass Train.
Yep.
Yay, you got it right.
Easy peasy.
So,
Dad,
follow it up.
It's 2017, 2016.
And it's going to be Train. Not surprised there, right? Because Dust 2 has, obviously Gambit would not be looking to play Dust 2. Cache is a map which actually favors both the teams, and I think AGO playing this a little safe. You're taking out Cache, but Mirage is, it's very much open. I think AGO are pretty damn decent on it, and Gambit can do a lot of damage on it as well, which is why this really looks like it's going to play out to be a a 3-mapper, so to speak.
Do you agree, Natu, or are there some more intricacies that you'd like to lay out?
Yeah, no, but it's just what I said. The similarities in this map, the map pools of these teams will make this match very interesting. Now it will come down to how are these players going to be able to perform here on the server. Basically, it will come down to the form of the day more than anything, honestly. And once we go to the interesting segment, which is coming out with some reasons here eventually.
3 reasons why.
I'll be happy to elaborate.
Yes, we will, but not just yet. I'd like to start focusing in on Gambit. So you spoke a bit about Mo and how he could be a guy to watch out for. Dosia was mentioned. I think Adrian is also a player that we were speaking about yesterday. Are you satisfied with what you've seen from him so far?
I mean, Adrian as a player did all he could yesterday. There was nothing disappointing in him, right? But except that game against Godsend on Train, they just didn't seem to know what to do, especially on their T side, to be very honest. Overall, both the CT and T side, I'd rather see, rather than any individual really going off, I'd like to see Gambit try and be a little bit more structured in their approach, try and work the pairs, try and set up your stars. You have Hobbit, right? You have Hobbit, you have Adrian, you have Mo. These are 3 big heavy hitters, and as long as you set them up well, and Caesar's calling as well, he doesn't need to really do the brunt of the the killing and whatnot. And Dosia, as long as he plays his role right, doesn't overextend, doesn't go for some of those stupid plays as you might put it across, I think that should be more than sufficient.
Seized also calm and collected under pressure, and he also has a fantastic haircut at the moment. Extremely sharp. Props to his barber. Natu, over to you.
I think for Gambit, also T-side so far, have been slightly lackluster at times. There have been moments of laps, just not effective enough utility usage, making it too easy for the CTs to hold off. Because the whole purpose when you're attacking, when you're throwing those mollies and smokes and flashes, is you're trying to make the CTs uncomfortable. Right?
Indeed.
And try to cause them to not be able to just stationary at a certain angle, having a crossfire. You're supposed to make them uncomfortable on that one side, and they were not able to, especially in the first game against Torque. That was one of the key issues they had on their CT side of Overpass. So I do definitely want to see them fine-tune things a little bit, get dialed in, so to speak.
We saw yesterday from Gambit that they had good composure against Tor to have to win a double overtime, but then when they went up against Godsend, they lacked the right sort of setups on the CT side. Blett, do you want to speak a bit on that?
Yeah, speaking of setups, it was again Train. It is a map which obviously traditionally favors the CT side. One thing was, I've seen Gambit play really well in Train, and that wasn't what we saw yesterday, right? I would like to see them use hold on to utility, try and ensure that T's don't have the freedom to work with. Instead, they were playing a much more static side. There's one time, I think when they were having the streak on Train, when I used to love to see Dosia playing aggressively towards outer, ably backed up by his teammates as well, making the terrorists uncomfortable at all times. Instead, yesterday, Godsend had so many opportunities, so many openings where they had a chance to get a pick and not get traded immediately. So they need to tighten up that CT side a much more. Yeah. The T side, not much to say about it. Just need to peek, poking and prodding, allowing the room, the freedom to roam about with it off and get those openings. So yeah, a lot of things they can fix, but it is a team. They are a team who have shown that they can do this in the past.
Natu moving forward to AGO. Against Godsend yesterday, they had a slow start, but then they started to pick up. I think overall they scored 11 rounds. Maybe today they could benefit from getting off to finding their step a bit quicker. Yeah,
well, certainly. I feel like they maybe struggle playing against a bit more aggressive teams, and Godsend definitely is one of those teams that like to take the fight to their opponents. I think that might be a bit of a similar issue here going against Gambit as well. They will need to really find that right tempo and to decide whether they're going to go aggressive themselves or if they're going to be very passive. Now, the danger of being very passive is that you're going to be running very low on time, and then your pushes will have to be super precise so that you don't end up in those very unfortunate situations where time is running out when you're planting a bomb.
Yeah, but one thing I got to point out is earlier today against Torque, it was a much more, obviously a very comfortable affair for them, but Snatchy was really a standout player for me. That guy, with that op of his, on a map like Inferno, with T-side opping is not that easy. Even some of the world's best operas do kind of tend to struggle on the T-side. He can pretty much just go solo in and get those picks. His individual game sense when taking duels is it was very impressive for me. So he's going to be instrumental, and if he can get that op going in the T-sides, it could be a little painful for Gambit.
We did notice as well, Natu, that yesterday Letcrow is playing for AGO. No, not the case. Snatchy looks like a Polish version of Lekro, though, don't you think?
Yeah, well,
a little bit.
Maybe a long-lost brother, a cousin, or something.
Who knows? Who knows? But everybody at home should be thinking about who will win. You can vote in the chat by doing exclamation mark followed by either GMB for Gambit or AGO for, you guessed it, AGO. It's going to be definitely a tale of those first two maps. Who has a better footing on them? I think maybe Gambit, considering they played those two maps yesterday, could feel more comfortable. I can't remember exactly which ones AGO played yesterday. They only played one map against Godsent. Was it Train?
Overpass?
No, they lost an Overpass.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was Overpass. So they've played one of the maps from our two
Yes.
in the field for today. And so going in, could that factor in the fact that Gambit have already played those two maps here at the tournament and AGO have only played one?
I don't think it really makes much of a difference. A bit of a feeler maybe, but no, not really. These teams have played and practiced these maps and played official games on them. Like I said, even AGO has 50,000 rounds played together.
50,000.
So
Although I think these two teams, when did they last played against each other? Because if
last year, something.
Yes, I think they've only played two. Yeah, now I remember it. They played only two maps against each other, both online, both 7 or 8 months ago. It was Train both the times, and Gambit lost both his games.
Natu, please go ahead and give me 3 reasons why you favor one of these teams.
Yeah, 3 reasons why Gambit's going to take this game, boys.
All right.
Well, we can start off with Mo is going to out-op Snatchy because he's been on fire. Yesterday he was using every opportunity he was given, any space, and he was always there. He was always making those plays. Similar map pool. That is going to be favoring Gambit, 100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you're an underdog, you never want to be in that situation where you're thinking, what are we going to pick? What are we going to pick so that we have the favor? There's nothing we can pick. And obviously, just the pound-for-pound skill level for Gambit as well. Putting all those together, major champions on the team, a lot of experience. So, unfortunately, that's just going to favor Gambit. Also, Gambit will use any given opportunity. AGO has shown that there are still lapses, little moments where they just do not connect the dots. And when you have something like we saw from Mo, for example, you leave a bit of a gap with the smoke. He will go there, he will take the angle, he will take the shot, he will connect with it as well. So they really do have to be very, very careful here at AGO if they want to be anywhere near winning this game.
I do think that battle between Moo and Snatchy is going to be crucial to both teams. And thank you for those 3 reasons brought to us by Hacks. Moving forward, I think we should start to predict who is going to win this game.
I already said mine.
I know, but to officially put it out there on the table.
2-0.
Gambit.
2-0? Are you going to go for maps as well? Give it a shot.
2-0 Gambit.
2-0 Gambit.
I'm going to go with the card-throwing X-Man known as Gambit also. So that's 3 votes to Gambit. We can't find out who our casters will pick until shortly. They're just getting ready and prepped. I think we've got 2 new guys stepping in that we've seen earlier in the show. It's going to be Vince and Risk. I like those guys. They're good friends. Nice to have backstage, relaxing presence. Blair, so far, what are you feeling about your first DreamHack in tour and being here in France?
I'm super happy to be here. It was pretty last minute for me. You know, I thought I wouldn't make it because of my visa issues and all that, but I managed to make it. And so far, I've been having a lot of fun. It's been a blast. Great weather, great food. Great wine, great cheese. Great Counter-Strike.
We haven't had any wine and cheese. Don't just lie to the people at home. I wish we had.
I'm just trying to be nice to the country, all right?
Right now, we are very much on schedule today, however, so maybe tonight it will be some fromage et
You have
vin.
just jinxed it.
I'm known to do that as well. Either way, Blair, very happy to have you here as a fellow long-haired person. Risk and Metas, Wince and Neil Stop. What's going on?
That was a good introduction. I'll take that. Yeah, we're just getting set up here. We got everything sorted out with the PC, so now we're also ready to go. Hopefully the players will be as well, and then we can get this started.
Who are you guys picking for this matchup?
It's a good question because I feel like the speed and ferocity and aim of AGO will be prevailing in this one. The question is, will the system of Gambit be enough to hold it down? So I'm kind of like leaning between those two. I'm going to say AGO, though.
Interesting.
Okay, Vince.
I was going Gambit all the way.
Awesome.
All the way.
Well, there is still a possibility that either team can win it, just like we don't really know how to pronounce AGO, AGO, AGO. Guys,
Does it really matter?
over to you.
I think I'll stick with AGO, but
Yeah.
AGO definitely rolls off the tongue a little bit better, I would say. I'm not even sure what it stands for. That's the other question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Does it have a meaning?
Tweet us at DHO to find out,
Yeah.
or to tell us, because we want to know. But yeah, we're getting ready for this match, of course. It's going to be a really interesting one. AGO coming in with a lot of these like Polish new upcoming players, like Snatchy. Tuao is one of the ones I've been looking forward to seeing as well. Last game he played, he had a -17, so the rest of the team was really carrying, and he was like in the bottom of the scoreboard. So he's one of the players that I'm looking forward to seeing step it back up, because he has the potential, and we've seen it before, and they need him to be on point if they're going to beat Gambit.
I definitely agree, and I also see where you're coming from, you know, with the idea of AGO having a lot of individually talented players, but obviously Gambit have the tried and tested strats. Also, in terms of veterancy, they have players that have been around the block so many times. So I'm going to edge with Gambit, but in a best of 3, I'll be very curious to see how this one comes down, especially considering the map pool. I mean, Overpass, a map that Gambit obviously historically have been very solid on, but they did have a bit of a rough go at it yesterday against Torp, if memory serves me correctly, in a double overtime. So are they firing on all cylinders even on the maps that you expect them to brisk past teams on?
Yeah, it's a good one. Also, if you look at it, Overpass for AGO, it's actually quite nice. They got a 66.7% win rate on it as well. So yes, it's a good map for Gambit, but it's almost like it's an even ground. Both teams actually really prefer it. Also interesting in general, like how much will this, let's not say inexperience, but lack of experience compared to Gambit hurt AGO in the like length of a best of 3, because we know that Gambit, they have played in so many tournaments. Many of these players have been there since 1.6, rolling all the way through CSGO as well. AGO are kind of like these new kids on the block. So how far can they go, and how long will this like lack of experience take them? Because that might be in that third map, if we get to like a close game overtime, that might be where the experience kicks in for Gambit.
Yeah, plus with statistics, I always take it with a pinch of salt, because what you have to also take into account is that AGO have not really consistently played the caliber of teams that Gambit have.
Yes.
You know, these guys are typically around the tier 2, tier 3 bracket, whereas Gambit are often going to these top tier events. They're playing against some of the best teams in the world and coming up short. So I'm not sure how much I can really take the statistics into account, but what you can say there is AGO clearly are comfortable on this map. They know what they're doing on this map, and therefore could give Gambit a really good go of it.
Here we go, map number 1, Overpass. On its way, 2 flashbangs and a smoke for Hobbit. And the good old kid smoke on Furlan. Now actually with aggressive positioning, Seized already picking him off, and now Furlan to defend this bomb site, but has to rotate back.
Yeah, he just has to pull away. He's trying to bide as much time as possible, but the issue is that the cavalry's not going to be arriving. They've all been cut down in transition, leaving just Snatchy by himself to come round the back. Through short pipe, he is going to find Dozier first. It's not going to be a flawless clean sweep by Gambit, but it is going to be a very comfortable one. Great start.
Yeah, Seized with the 4K, that's what you want, right? Like, get that in-game leader started, get him going. And that's some of the things that we were talking about yesterday when we were commentating on a Gambit game as well. Seized is one of these in-game leaders that just likes to go in front of the pack. He's not one who's holding back, just waiting for someone else to do the entering. He'll go in towards the bomb site and open it up. That's what they need right now, Gambit. They need someone they can believe in.
Oh, that's rough.
Well, I believe that was a missed Molotov, and hopefully it's not going to impact the round too much.
Aim towards the barrels, or short. So it is at least going to keep them in two minds as to whether the CTs have pushed short. May stall them a little bit longer than they anticipated. But in terms of firepower, as you say, I mean, surely Gambit do come out ahead in this round more often than not. You'd really hope that they do, from their perspective.
Currently, AGO stacked onto that B bomb site. Question is, are Gambit gonna bite? It's not looking like it right now, as Adren has found one. Not so long. Furlan taken out as well. Now Grubby rotating onto the bomb site. So already now, like, 5v3, Grubby low HP. He will catch one, but this round should be Gambit's.
And it's the expendable weapon of the MAC-10 that's been dropped. It's a weapon that Gambit don't mind a great deal if it is going to go by the wayside. As long as they can keep those 3 AKs going through into the next round, that's all that really matters. That grenade just a bit too deep to do any damage to Grubby, but the AK-47 of Mo will finish off what Hobbit started. And with 35 seconds, it's going to be more than comfortable to get this bomb planted momentarily. Just PHR remains.
Yeah, and even though this is like an easy round for Gambit. They still go through all the checkbooks, all the check marks in the book, right? They place down the smoke, they hold the angle specifically. They know what they're doing, they're following the plan, even though it's an easy round. That's also one of the things I really like about Gambit. They're very meticulous with how they attack a bomb site. They have all these different strats and all these different things they have to go through every single time to make sure that nothing goes like the way of their opponents. Everything's planned out. It's always nice to have in a CSGO team that just follows the list.
PHR will be happy to save this CZ. Does give them a little bit of firepower to use in round 3. He's good to go. But on the side of Gambit, only MAC-10 drop. They still have 1 to go. And you better believe they're going to be sending in Hobbit first to any encounters or skirmishes to clear up as many CTs as possible. In terms of the finances, AGO, I mean, they can go for a couple of P250s here or there, but that's basically it.
Snatch is saving up for the big green. And then we got PHR, of course, with the saved CZ75 head armor. Twao will probably be cannon fodder for this one, as Hobbit just jumps into the fray. MAC-10 in hand. Lots of CCs to find on this bomb site. Most of them actually far away, but he has the AKs with him as well.
Pretty textbook, though, so far by Gambit on the incursion into B. All 5 players kept alive, and many players will keep the MAC-10 in this situation. Hobbit can just go for the bonus up if he so chooses, but it looks like he is going to drop across the MAC-10 to Seized and take his AK instead. And as you said, Snatchy saving up for the AWP.
Yeah. And that's a strange choice, or not a strange choice, like a difficult choice to make on a map like Overpass. Yes, that AWP is important, but having that utility, which he doesn't now that he's gone for the AWP, it's also very important. And it's the first buy round. They want to get started on swinging, but Seized here coming in. MAC-10 will be taken out.
As will Dosia. Flashbangs going to subside, allowing Grubby to wipe away the cobwebs and go back in once more. The smokes are solid, though. It is keeping Gambit at bay at arm's reach. And therefore, AGO have successfully defended the initial charge. The rush has been squashed well and truly. And now Gambit pull back towards the T-spawn.
Yeah, the thing now is that for AGO, they've stacked 4 players on this B bomb site. The only one right now guarding A is Snatchy. The rotation is coming in, though, so Furlan will be that secondary player on the A bomb site. Gambit had a window of like 10-15 seconds. If they pulled a full rotate, they would actually been able to isolate that 1 player on A. But now, setting up for the normal push, and they will meet at least 2. One of them here being Snatchy with the AWP.
Who has just seen firsthand that smoke come down. Aggressive peek will yield a kill on Tomo. And the chances for Gambit were looking fleeting, and now almost impossible. 35 seconds added on top of their list of woes.
Oh, Furlan's position here.
Yeah, going to be a kill all day, every day. Leaving Adren. At least he has the bomb, but he has no life remaining. Snatchy is going to get his second.
A perfect round to start this off for AGO. That's what they wanted, right? They want to come swinging into that first buy round, going to build some momentum. They know the bank of Gambit exists, so they have more than enough money to full buy again. That equipment is expensive, so AGO surviving with all 5 players as well. Very important. Snatchy can start it as well on the AWP. A lot of good signs here for AGO after losing that pistol.
A lot of it off the back of an aggressive push, though, from Gambit when they go back into their slower, steadier push. I do wonder if AGO will struggle. But, of course, we're going to get the answers to those ponderings right now. Tao, close range on short. Does have a player just behind him. Try and get the avenging frag if they get pushed. That grenade does quite a bit of damage, actually, to Dosia. He'll be finished off by Tao, and there we go. PHR comes in, gets the revenge kill, and AGO do maintain the player advantage.
Have a lot of players right now on B. And Snatchy and Furlan actually played very aggressively as Scrubby's taken out by Hobbit. That means 2 players now have to rotate. PHR is all alone. So he needs that backup to come in right now. Can Seized pick him off? Yes, he will. That's a 3v2.
I don't think he saw the player drop into water, which is going to be Furlan, which should have fought in this kill, but he's whiffed his chance. And will the round go begging alongside it? They could line up for him. Not able to get a second, and that will leave Snatchy in another clutch. This time a 1-on-2, more doable. And with your close range, may get this first frag on Tomo. Now it's all about this 1-on-1, and what a flick! Snatchy's gonna clutch it out. And you thought when Furlan whiffed on the site from water, that was it.
What a great play from Snatchy. Once again, Last round coming in with 2 kills. This one coming in with 2 as well. Pixel perfect from him right now. That's just it, right? Like, the player on the bomb site taken out. Rotation comes in. Whiff from the player in water. But Snatchy doesn't care. Comes in with a double anyways.
Excellent AWPing. And especially for a team like AGO, you know, we were discussing this before, that at this kind of caliber of CS, they're a little bit inexperienced. They're not exactly up there with the likes of Gambit. When it comes to how many times they've been here, getting a clutch like that is going to inspire the rest of your team. It's really going to spur them on, make them believe that you can take this best of 3.
Yeah, this round also forces Gambit into spending all of their money. There's almost nothing left on the bottom of that treasure chest in Gambit's camp. One of the players, Dosha, even has to go for a Galil in this one, missing some utility, especially the Molotovs here on the T side. So AGO with a chance of taking it to 3-3 and also putting Gambit on an eco round.
They're certainly on the brink of collapse. They do have an AWP themselves in the hands of Mo, alongside Snatchy, who's gone for Zeus as well, interestingly enough. Why not?
Money to spare, no problem.
But no early casualties. And just shy of a minute on the clock. So much slower, steadier pace, and Adren will take the head clean off Snatchy's shoulders. Excellent pick. The firepower off the table. The man that's really been the shining beacon of AGO so far. But Adren is going to run out of bullets, and Tao will make the most of that. He can cordon off long with the smoke. 35 seconds now, Risk. This is getting a bit sketchy for Gambit.
Especially with Furlan's position here. This is so good. If they don't have one guy coming toilets and checking his corner, it's the rotation, so they won't have to. One player sticking on the A bomb side for the T side. The rest of the terrorists rotating towards PHR.
And with Furlan coming through connector, it gives all the information across to AGO. PHR can hold position, only needs the 1 kill. That's probably going to be good enough. They can't stop the bomb plant, but now the retake is looking very good. And it's all down to Hobbit, who makes a move from heaven, made some noise, and Tao is going to claim yet another one. A 3K in the round for him. And AGO will tie us up at 3 apiece.
This is not looking good. They do get the bomb down though, so there is a potential for them to do a force buy. If I was the coach, I wouldn't advise doing it, but let's see what they choose. They have Hobbit on 4,600, Seized on 39. Oh, they're actually gonna... Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna go for the force here. Let's see if this works out, because there'll be limited utility, there'll be Galils, there'll be Mac-10s. Obviously, nothing compared to the buy that's on the CT side right now. Full utility, 3 kits, AWP, and even an A-Can on Twao.
This could be a fulcrum point already of this map, as both teams' economy is lacking. I think, honestly, Gambit just sensed the weakness of the CT's funds.
Yep.
But if they lose this, as you say, they're into an eco more than likely themselves. And the early damage is definitely going the way of AGO. PHR with a double from water. There's Grubby just outside Monster. And Hobbit is left to weep over his fallen comrades. And all that happened in the first 20, 30 seconds of the round. Just bloodshed, carnage.
Straight up rush B. Try to put some pace on it, and I do agree with you, like there's an argument to be made that yes, both teams' economies are low, but sometimes you just have to hold your horses and just say, okay, this buy is not going to be enough. We need everything to get this one rolling, but it's okay. It's early in the game. You can take chances. If you do this 3 or 4 times in a row and fail in all of them, then you have to kind of start, okay, this is not a good idea. But AGO will get on 4. Starting to build a tiny bit of economy. And T-side, Adren, surprisingly enough, has bought an AK.
Good old raid boss. Now, as long as the rest of the team doesn't invest too deeply, it just means that they may have the 1 CZ or Deagle in the next round. So
it's a fair choice.
It gives you that firepower this one, and also doesn't really impact your next buy that much. And they have put it into the hands of a Adren who's just been obliterated. 2 nades into an AWP shot.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bodied.
But they do have other Kevlar. So Dozier has the AK right now, but of course, he could toss that away to one of his teammates. So lack of aim punch.
Yeah, throw it over to Hobbit, who has the head armor as well. Then they can switch. Actually, it's going to be Seized who gets it.
Yeah, he's too far away from Hobbit. He was in connector.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's too much of a gap to bridge. But speaking of Seized, he has spotted Snatchy and does 2/3 of his health. Tau, in the meanwhile, though, will alleviate the AK from the hands of Seized, and it's looking like it's going to be more of the same. AGO ripping through Gambit. Mo is going to get 2 Deagle frags, so at least he's making this hurt a little bit more for the Polish team.
Yeah, making sure their economy is not going to run away. With 3 players, yes, it's going to go a tiny bit. If he gets 1 more, that's ideal for them. Forcing the Polish side to rebuy all those weapons.
Exactly.
One behind him, M4 in front of him. 40 seconds to go. Like, this is still not entirely impossible.
No, and any more kills from here would be a massive success because, as we discussed before, only Adren went in for a full buy. So they are going to have another one coming up regardless of what happens. If they could hold on to this M4, it means he could drop it across to Adren. Don't have to play more conservatively, but you better believe at this stage, Mo, if he sees a pixel and he can get the kill, he will try and transition into the round win. And he's going for broke. 13 seconds left, and a Molotov, I was going to say truck, but Snatchy from the side of the boxes gets him anyway. Nice try.
Yeah, they had that one on lockdown. They had 2 players on the bomb side and 1 coming in on the flank behind. So very hard for the Gambit player to get anything done there. Let's do see the buy here now. Will be okay. The only thing that we're missing is 2 flashes and maybe a Molotov on Adren. Everything else is on point, so not too shabby.
Yeah, definitely worthwhile with the AK in the previous round. Did work. Although, is that mainly the Deagle of Mo in the end?
It's actually something that I like a lot seeing from players. It also shows confidence. You say, okay, yes, I can take this AK now. Just let me do this. And Adren, we all know he's one of those players who can just do things, and so is Snatchy. Dosia already out of the picture.
And he's been using different angles too. He's been in bathroom, he's played aggressively up fountain, now he's peeking from short, now he's peeking long. So again, you mentioned this yesterday, one of the better traits to have as an AWP is to be unpredictable, is to be fluid, is to move around a lot. And so far so good. We'll miss out on that shot, but it is going to certainly send a collective chill down the spine of Gambit, not wanting to peek long too many times.
3 players set up towards long, and with the bomb gone down here, Snatchy can actually catch the rotating player. And the bomb has been isolated. This is a big problem for Gambit right now.
And it just got a whole lot worse. Snatching close proximity. He is going to be able to land the frag. The 1-4 trade will still be fine for AGO. Sure, it's the AWP down, but they can pick that up later anyway. There's going to be more of an issue as this round goes on, though, for Gambit, because they only have 30 seconds left.
And only 1 smoke and 1 Molotov. So the utility on them, not usually what you want. And I have a flash as well to get into that bomb site to make sure Grubby can straight PQ. It's a tough one. Furlan also coming in with the flag. This should be done.
And indeed it is. At least for Gambit, they don't die after time, so it's not going to hurt their economy as much as it could have. But that is definitely looking at the silver lining on a fairly dark
really
cloud overhead.
Trying to forcing the positivity there.
Yeah, forever the optimist. And that is 6 rounds in a row now for AGO. So that's why we're saying it's a pretty dark cloud overhead. The only rounds that Gambit have got are off the back of the pistol.
Yeah. They have not been able to convert any of these buy rounds either. And now a couple of pistols. We saw what Mo did with the pistol last time around, which is shining a bright light, but that light can get extinguished real quick when Snatchy comes in with the AWP here. He's playing so aggressively as well against pistols, which is an interesting choice to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like this time was too aggressive because you're against pistols, you must realize that their economy is not going to be great, and now you've just gift-wrapped an AWP across to the Gambit who really needed some firepower.
Yeah, and they all had armor as well, so this is a really good situation for Seized. He has that AWP, he can even throw it over to Mo when they group up later on, so this is just giving Gambit a chance to win a round they should have no business in winning.
And it definitely smells of desperation now for Gambit because Furlan round the back. And he's able to get 1, but the trades are coming through thick and fast, and Gambit, they're still in with a shout. The CZ from Mo.
Yeah, now it's a 1v1 with 50 seconds to go. Mo even has the bomb. And Twa was so far away, he actually thinks still this is going to be an A plant, but yeah, Mo's on the B side already. So a 1v1 with the bomb down from a round that was 2 CZs, a Deagle, and 2 pistols. Mo doesn't care.
Aggressive through shot, and Tau just gets caught with his trousers down around his ankles. Very well played, but all of that comes off the back of Snatchy peeking, dying on balloons, and Gambit just playing very aggressive because Adren got into bank.
Yep.
And he only got into bank because Snatchy died.
Exactly. Then that whole long area was left open and he could sneak into the bomb site. Luckily for AGO, they still have some economy behind them. Can still get that buy going. Next round is going to be a stretch. If they save a couple of weapons, then maybe. But let's see how this one plays out.
Furlan has been definitely the connector player, though, so far. A good 4 or 5 rounds we've seen him in this position. Does take a bit of damage, decides to peace out of connector and going into water instead of short. And is going to be completely uncontested. There was maybe a worry and a bit of doubt in his mind that if a terrorist player pushed into short, he's going to be a dead man after that flash subsided, but not the case.
I think in general the whole T side waited these first 20-30 seconds way back behind that very defensive line close to T-spawn, and now they're moving out. But Snatch is here, 1 for 1. Might make it 2 for 2. Let's see.
Really should be getting avenged there, but still somehow alive with 30 health. Dosia elsewhere onto Tau. And he's going to keep the CTs honest. And with the Molotov, not only does that stop Snatchy from pushing, but also messes with his vision, and that's why he backed away into the embracing arms of Adren. Furlan, though, will trade out. But elsewhere, the terrorist is going to start to apply the pressure on B, which is where 2 of the CTs are residing. This could backfire for Hobbit, and it has done just that. I don't think he saw the second player.
No. And now the question is, in a 2v3 with the bomb all the way back and 25 seconds to go, Seized has to run straight to the bomb site right now. And there are 2 players on it. Furlan on the side with the AWP, and Grubby ready to rotate in with 2 seconds.
12 seconds, Furlan just has to hold his ground. A kill would be even better, but it's not going to happen. But Grubby is there with 14 health. All that he needs to put this round to bed. Realize he doesn't have to peek anymore. The bomb will not get planted in time. And Dosia tries to run away with the AWP, and he will be successful. But that's a 7-4 lead now.
Yeah, that's such a nice rotationary position that that Grubby was in there. Got 2 kills out of the round as well. He was in a position where the second someone calls anything from either side, they know, okay, both players are coming there, and then he can rotate. Like, he has maybe a 2 to 3 second time window to rotate from that position to either bomb site. That's just perfect. Comes in with the timing. Yes, his teammate dies, but he's ready with the revenge frag instantly to take down that bomb. And with the time left on the clock, that's exactly what they need.
A tactical timeout has been called by AGO, interestingly, even though they got back into winning ways. Trying to make Gambit stew on this, really mull it over. And it looks to me that they are going to go for a force, and it's not going to be a great one.
No.
Obviously, they've got the saved AWP from Dosia in the previous round that he's dropped across to Mo. AK-47 trades hands, a couple CZs and a Deagle. So this is bottom of the barrel stuff now.
Yeah, once more, Gambit in this kind of position. If they lose this, they're going to be on an eco. And we've seen this before. Last time they were very aggressive in this kind of round. I think this is a more default-esque play, where they just hold back and hold their positions for a while and then slowly ramp up to the execute. Which I feel like is the correct choice against AGO, because if you just run into that process and trying to take a 1v1 or 2v2 aim duel without the backup of your utility, you're going to have a really hard time.
And we've been seeing them run into that issue a few times already, and it's always backfired for them. So Slow and Steady wins the race, maybe hoping that Snatchy plays aggressively again and gives his life away, but he has learned, fair play, that's not the greatest of ideas, so he's now playing passive.
Yeah, and they're just stacking in a pretty standard 2-3, as we do usually see here in Overpass. 2 players towards A, 3 players towards B, and Snatchy removed from long. Mo just, with the perfect flashbang play there, taking him out. Now the AWP is being switched out. Furlan now has it, but he's alone in this position, waiting on the rotation.
Remember, it was Overpass yesterday where Mo dropped well over 30 frags in double overtime. This is the map where he really shone. Dosia, Molotoving, just into short. Furlan has been there previously. Mo gets a second opportunity, and he will strike twice. Single-handedly turning this round in favor of Gambit. But Furlan is now going to pick up the AWP from Snatchy's corpse. Is unable to get more than one. Tau, last man standing, and the time was starting to run pretty short. So there was a way in which that could have been still AGO's round, but not quite. The force buy pays off.
Gambit make it work once again. And now, with that economy behind it, the same scenario as we saw last time around. Even though they're forcing themselves down to the bottom of pretty much their money pit, they're also in a situation, if they win the round, they force AGO to do the same. They decide to go, say, okay, we had 1800, 1900, 1700. We have to go for 2 rounds in a row, so let's just force up here. Full eco twice. Let's go.
And this is the time it works out. You can see the effect it has on AGO. Not just Grubby's death, but the rest of the players really have very little to play with. Scout, CZ, P250, just the 1 kit. And Furlan is spotted by Adren. There's going to be no shenanigans from Connector this round. Tau from outside, though. He's going to lay Hobbit to rest. Snatchy's also got in for a kill, but it still favors Gambit for the time being.
Yeah, Cease is on 11 HP, though, so it's not entirely an impossible situation. And now it is, because Trial's taken out by Cease. So nice job from the in-game leader. Once again, coming in with an high-impact frag. PHR, 1v3. 2 of them low, though. But will be taken out by Mo, the only one who's not low.
The stars are beginning to align there. Yeah. You can almost see the Eclipse coming in for Gambit. A couple of scout shots were landing, knocking players low. But yes, as you say, in that 3v2, as soon as Gambit get the 3v1, that's pretty much the round is done and dusted. So Gambit really turning their fortunes around at the end of this half. It started great for them, then we had 6 rounds unanswered from AGO. And now they're starting to get AGO against the ropes. An 8-7 lead for Gambit would be really solid, all things considered.
Yeah, this should be a round for Gambit. This is the second economical round, the second pistol round they have now. There should be no question about it. But Furlan somehow, some way gets 1, but Dosia chimes back with a double. And just start pistols remain for the CT side.
And that was all Furlan. There was no assist in the mix there. So Furlan landed 2 or 3 quick-fire shots. Pretty impressive stuff, but ultimately it feels like it's a drop in the bucket, because now it's just the default pistols on the CT side. P2000 USP against 3 AK-47s and an AWP. Cease is going to go into Grubby. Does get caught from the side of PHR.
And that's what they want, right? Like, in this kind of a full eco round, if you can get 2 kills, remove 2 weapons from your enemies, you're actually looking at a pretty decent result. PHR is still alive, Adrenaline 45 HP. If we can get a 3rd one, that would be magnificent. But it's still okay for a result here. 7-7 will be the scoreline, surely. Both teams with a full buy next round.
I think at this point, PHR knows that there was some bloodshed at long and wants to see if he can maybe pick a weapon up before this round comes to its conclusion. But you can see way over Adren has already read the situation. He's like, nope, I am denying any weapons. I realize where you're probably going to be. And he connects the headshot. Well played.
And that's the kind of, like, spider sense that comes with the experience that Adren has. Like, he knows players, he knows these maps. He's been playing for so long, so he can kind of, like, think 3 steps ahead of you and know what you're going to do before you actually do it. 7-7, last round of the first half. Full by both teams. No up on the CT side, though, so Snatcher will have to make do with an M4. Also missing a bit of utility, no Molotovs either on the CT side. And no kits. So not the best of buys, but firepower is definitely there for the CTs.
This time Furlan's going to be playing aggressive up long. It's been snatching Connector. Not quite working out for them. Furlan does get the better of Adren, but it's at the cost of 88 health. A gust of wind would claim his life at this stage, but all of that once again in the first 30 or so seconds of the round. So Gambit can steady themselves, recuperate, have control of the bomb in Connector. Mo has made inroads up towards A, where PHR is laid in wait on the truck. He's about to get peeked, though, and it is through the truck will claim the kill, and this half is going to end very likely unless Grubby can pull off a ridiculous 1v3 clutch in favor of Gambit.
Well, let's see. I get the first one here.
He's going to get that freebie. There is a bit of hope now as to this second kill, but it's all about where the 3rd player is residing. Oh, he's landed the headshot onto Hobbit. Gambit, you cannot let this one slip. They've got a Molotov, and there is a lack of kit in the hands of AGO and Dosia. He will not allow the clutch to become a reality. And he couldn't look any less interested.
That's just the magic of the X content, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we are just like puppets in his world, and he just controls everything. That's how it is. All right, second half coming in. We predicted a close game between these two, and we're definitely getting a bang for our buck here.
Yeah, so far delivering.
Yeah. Mo and Cease both on 14 frags, topping the scoreboard for the team. Dosia, surprisingly enough, sitting on 7 at the bottom. If you look at the frags, the same with PHR, but once again, these two teams are in that category of no like specific star who carries them every single game, so everyone has to like kind of chime in, and everyone is doing that right now. All players are stepping up to the plate, getting frags, getting impact frags, doing the work. That's why it's so close.
Gotta wonder now, though, if Gambit can really turn it up a notch on the CT side. I'd say this pistol is very, very important for AGO. I'll have to see how they're going to come through into this one. So far, it looks like they're not going to have a great deal of utility. 3 players have just gone for Kevlar.
Yeah, let's see what the plan is here. I'm very curious to see what kind of strat they're going to throw out in the pistol round.
There is a technical timeout, however, for AGO, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out what's going on in terms of the buy. But it could be either or. I feel like a lot of teams would just go for a straight up Glock and Kevlar, rush B, just go super aggressive.
But there's some, like, especially on overpass, there's a lot of opportunity to utilize Molotovs. I feel like more and more teams, especially on the T side, find ways to throw Molotovs either from spawn or close to spawn that can kind of help them out, covering either angles that CTs will push aggressively or angles where they'll be likely to stand in the case of a full rush, especially on that B bomb site. There's 2 or 3 places where you can Molotov almost from T-spawn or running out of T-spawn. So I'm very curious to see if they're going to utilize some of that. Not for this case. Furlan has purchased a smoke and 2 flashbangs, so telling us that they might be setting something up that could be, that could go anywhere on the map pretty much with that setup.
Yeah, we saw a whiffed Molotov from Seized earlier on the T side. From spawn, as you're saying, thrown towards the barrels, got blocked, but it is going to be a straight up B push. Nothing slow about this. And already AGO have overwhelmed the site. Dosia somehow gets a kill. I have no idea how that happened, and Grubby was hungry for a knife, but it gets denied. However, the damage has already been done. Gambit are reeling in a 2-on-4.
Such a nice set piece play as well, right? Like the smoke that goes straight to heaven, and then 2 flashbangs. So the first one come in, you can then throw the secondary one if you want. Adren though, trying to make it happen. What? Adren quickly 2-1 set, now 2v2. Make that Adren all alone.
And that is also the kit that's gone down with him. But Adren is continuing to frag out. It's all on Grubby. Adren is desperately seeking that defuse kit, and he wishes he had it. The bomb is not planted for the final player of Grubby, but he's playing the time so well. Even if Adren gets the kill, it's over. Well done, Grubby, but what a sick try by Adren.
Sometimes, like, his aim just doesn't make sense, and he makes it work nonetheless. I really like that pistol strat, because one of the things that's very dangerous when you're playing against a CT team that really knows how to play overpass is how you control water as a CT team. And they actually stacked 2 players in water for this time around. The set piece strat they throw out is the smoke towards upper, and then 1 flash that goes into that water area. And they went straight for the duel into water to dominate that area, and that's the perfect counter to what Gambit were stacking on that bomb side. So really nice read from AGO with the perfect strat there. Now, double MAC-10, 3 AKs. MAC-10s are expendable, AKs are not. And that's going to be pretty much the name of the game this round. Can Gambit get 3 kills or maybe more?
And for AGO, really puts them in the lead. Sure, it's 8-8, but in terms of finances, in terms of firepower, definitely favoring them now. I think it was very important they got a solid start in this half. But are they going to fall into the trap that so many teams have in the past, and that's into the CZs and the Desert Eagles?
We've definitely seen it before. That's true.
Mo trying to blow out the shins of Furlan, who will claim the kill onto Seized. Goes back in, the drive-by headshot, why not? And the MAC-10 is already done. It's work, it's okay for Fallen to go down. Dosia in the meanwhile, going to rattle off a few deagles. Optimistically looking for some heads, not going to connect anything just yet. Only 1 bullet left in the magazine, and Adren is going to claim the kill. And now Adren gets a second. He's clearly feeling it. These pistols are going so well for Gambit, but finally the firepower decides to show up.
Yeah.
And AGO will claim the round and take the lead.
But nonetheless, that's 1 AK removed, right? So making sure that the economy of the T side doesn't grow to, like, extraordinary amounts. So making sure that they're still like tied to the bottom of that pit. Like we see Furlan $200 to spare, Twao $250 to spare. 3 other players, yes, can rebuy. But let's say like the first buy round, Gambit just destroy them. Straight up round, they'll be missing flashes, destroy them as well, and that's a full reset.
PHR could be on for a flurry of frags. Just to his left resides a few CTs. They're going to be able to avoid that grenade, which wasn't too far off, and now they're going to push him as a 5-man unit. This is heaven for PHR and Tau, who are stacked together, and they haven't lost a single point of health either. And Dosia is like, please don't find me.
He's just going to hide. And yeah, that was just perfect. That's what you want, right? In a round where you're taking AK positions, waiting for the CTs to push you because you're expecting a push since they have a full eco. And then the MAC-10 will get the final frag. That's pretty much picture perfect.
But I could see what Gambit were going for, because they were trying to time it as if, as soon as that grenade is tossed, if a player is pushing the stairs, in CS you're often aiming left and right, but not up and down. Elevation aiming is actually harder to get on point with. You're not used to it as much. If you have 5 players charging down the stairs, as you come around the corner, it is so impossibly hard to land all the frags, and they were looking just for anything at that stage.
And if they can get, let's see, they sacrifice 2 guys and then get an AK, that whole round then changes, because then it goes from a full eco with absolutely no chance to 1 player with an AK. And some chance, at least, to do some economical damage. Like the sentiment, like what Grubby's doing right now, removing the hood of Mo. Take him straight out of the game. Now setting up towards the A bomb site. Bomb is still way back towards CT, towards T-spawn, but in a matter of 5 to 7 seconds, can rotate up and be ready for the push.
A bit of revenge too, as we saw Mo get a kill on Grubby a couple of times when the roles were reversed on long. There's an AWP that's been knocked down with him, I believe. That's going to sting even more for Gambit. Seasonal, meanwhile, trying to play through the smoke. Does have some support. In actual fact, all the CTs are located on A. They've totally vacated B, and this is going to backfire. I think the idea maybe for Gambit, though, is we'll stack A. If they go B, we'll just try and save the weapons together. But Furlan is going to be pushing alongside Grubby. They've both been taken down. That's at least AK's trading hands. And now Gambit in a 3-on-3 may feel baited into going for this clutch.
Have no kits, though, so they need to get an open and frag in the next little bit of time. There's always in these kind of retake scenarios, this window where if the CTs get a frag now and get a 3v2, they'll go for it. If they don't, they'll save their weaponry.
Additionally, no nades, so it is a real raw retake. PHR playing the graffiti angle. It's a hard one to get rid of if you don't have nades, because you're turning your back to the site, whereas there's so many angles that you can watch out for. But Adren and Hobbit have both came in with kills. Snatchy! The bomb timer is very low, however, and I think even with this kill, they don't have enough time, and they can't retrieve the AWP. So AGO will take the round, but Gambit keep all 3 players alive and eradicate AGO. So a decent take out the round overall.
Oh yeah, it's fine for them. Right now, they want to stabilize Gambit, and that's what they're doing. This round will be a full buy, of course, from AGO, but we still see that their economies, that like their bank, is not unbreakable. But the problem right now is that AGO, they're leading with 3 rounds now in a game that's very tight, or has been very tight, back and forth. Getting already now to round number 20, so this could be dangerous. Missing utility as well on the CT side. Hobbit has nothing left now. Dosia only with 1 smoke. So Flashbang's definitely not in surplus on this Gambit side.
In terms of the formation, pretty standard. Player and connector to A. Playing aggressively on A, though, in bathroom and long. Or bathroom and short, pardon me. And then on B, 2 players there too. So PHR going to toss out a Molotov. Going to get extinguished. So he's going to go looking, smoke, blocking the vision of the terrorists. They would have heard that door open, and Snatchy goes to the preemptive shot. So a little bit of information has been gathered by AGO at the very least, and now they've taken control of Connector. This is where things are going to get a bit sketchy for Gambit. It's not as if there's about 20 or 30 seconds left. Still 50.
Yeah, this is the default play right now for AGO. They're just finding out what positions the CT are in, see if they can get some map control, and then in like 15 seconds time do the execute. It looks like it's going to be Snatchy faking onto A, and then the rest of the team just grouping up on that B bomb site. But currently, 3 players there for the CT side, so might be a tough one.
Mo's going to get the timing on Snatch. He wasn't expecting a player in bathroom. But will they bite down too hard on this A hit? No. They're going to keep players in close enough proximity. They can hear the bomb being planted. Hobbit is going to bide his time, though. Doesn't want to give his life away. Even if he can stop the bomb planter, it's not going to really help the cause too much. Oh, and it's going to be a complete collapse. Gambit have lost 4 players. No hope but a clutch. Mo wants to save his AK. And AGO continue to march on. 4-round lead now.
Yeah. And now the economy for Gambit becomes a problem. Because yes, Mo will save that AWP. Adren has some money to spare, but the rest of the team, they have nothing. So they can either decide to force around this AWP or do like a pistol eco with some CZ. But nonetheless, their setup is going to be way worse than what AGO has to offer right now, with 4 players surviving and the bomb gone down. And now with the AWP taken away as well, this should be an eco. Maybe like a CZ play. I could see that coming in. But just the entries onto this bomb site in general, perfect from AGO.
Yeah, PHR entering 2 or 3 players. I think it really do about that. It's important to mention, though, that this is AGO's choice of map, although obviously Gambit are solid on overpass normally, with Train coming up next. Mo, the first player to fall, seized in connector once again, this time with a CZ and not an M4. About to get found by Furlan, who will graze past him with ease. Hobbit can hear footsteps going to be coming straight through into connector, and the CZ will work. Doesn't lose any health. I need to try and retrieve that AK. Unbeknownst to him, though, 2 players up to his left-hand side. Going to be smoking down and then pushing through it. That's not a great smoke, though. Smoking more onto the gun. I'm not sure how deliberate that was, but only 3 bullets left is now affording Hobbit the chance to go and get the AK. Scrappy play, but AGO get the better of it.
We'll get the bomb down here, surely to win the round. But yeah, as you say, like the AK picked up. Tosha still has that 5.7 in hand, a pistol we don't see a lot anymore, but has the potential to do damage here, to remove even more economy from the Polish side.
It seems like Dosia hates the CZ. He uses the I saw him use the Tech 9 yesterday on the T side on 5.7.
I like Dosia. He sticks to his principle.
We'll have to see if his 5.7 is going to reap any kills. He's taking points, and there's the first. Again, similar issue to a couple rounds prior. No nades, no kits. So Hobbit has decided better of this, and Dosia is going to try and keep them interested. See if he can take some more weapons away. Furlan's going to stick on the bomb just to make sure that they don't try and ninja defuse it towards the end of the round. It's not going to be happening. So AGO will pick up another round. At least Dosia takes a couple players with him. The 5.7 frag and the bomb detonation will take down 2 of AGO.
And yeah, that's all well and good. The problem is that AGO now on 13, so we can say a lot of like positive things about what they're doing. And yes, it's not all bad, but when you're losing rounds, when your opponent gets on 13, it's going to be very hard to bounce back. They have to get this round down right now. This is the buy. This is for their players not being able to rebuy after this. Yes, Hobbit has a lot of money to spare because of the saved weapon. The rest of the team doesn't.
Very aggressive, but it's just going to leapfrog Tau into a death. I'll meet his maker for the time being. Furlan connects the headshot, but it has been one-way traffic in Gambit Esports' favor. And before this round, they hadn't won a single CT round in 6. So, lifting the curse, it would seem. Snatchy and PHR have something to say about that, however.
It's still alive. It's an interesting choice, knowing that this is a very, very important round for AGO, and then just going full confidence, let's just rush them, when they've had so much success with their default play so far on this T side. Let's see if they can make it work out. Still 2v4. We've seen stranger things happen in Counter-Strike.
And if nothing else, as long as they flirt with the idea of going for this bomb, it could draw out more utility from Gambit. Those are incendiaries, those are smokes that are going to have to be replenished into the next round. Their economy, they're going to reset their round loss bonus if they win this. This is a good way of AGO still taking some minor victories, even if they lose the round.
And on the other side, like, AGO's economy is fine. They can easily rebuy. They might even be able to rebuy 2 rounds in a row. Snatchy coming in, though.
Snatchy got here?
He's just walked all the way from the opposite bomb side. He's being watched by Cease, though.
Okay. Fair enough, Gambit. We'll give you a free pass there. If Snatchy got any kills, I would have been mind-blown. But it's going to work out for Gambit. Keep all 4 players alive. Going to pick up some Molotovs as well on the way out, so it does replenish some of those nades we were talking about. But they've got to keep it going forward here.
Let's see, they have the opportunity to go for an op drop. I don't think they're going to go for it. Oh, actually they do. Tuao was the one to have the extra cash on him. And already now you can see that they are actually buying down here. PHR with 1850 to spare, but the rest of the team looking really tough. Mo has an op on that CT side, Snatchy on the T side.
As does Hobbit. They've gone for a double op setup, Gambit. High investment. Adren aggressively plays in with his sidekick nading into the entrance. Does quite a bit of damage. 3 players get tagged up by it.
That's such a nice play. They start out by playing 2 guys towards Fountain on the CT side. The second that Adren feels that there's so much space, Mo rotates, and then he holds the connector stairs with the AWP instead. That duo just very fluid in the way that they hold the short position. Really something that you can learn a lot from watching how Gambit play the CT side overpass.
So he's going to have a quick look into connector. Hasn't spotted anything just yet. Needs to be careful he doesn't jump too many times because Snatchy has his sight trained onto that location. One of the slower rounds that we've seen on either team. It has been pretty fast-paced on the T sides.
I think it's because AGO are realizing, okay, we can't really just like rush against these guys. We have to play our best strats, our default setup, look for the openings, and then go for it. Because of that one round where they just tried to rush B and it didn't work. This time around, Snatchy finding Hobbit, that first of those 2 ops, as you mentioned earlier. It's on the opposite bomb side. Dosia rotates in, but the push is going to come to A.
He's drawn out a couple players and a lot of utility, though. And this is where AGO should be able to strike. 15 seconds. No more roadblocks. Are going to be facing them apart from Seized, and he may be enough. 9 seconds now. Can they retrieve the bomb in time? Yes. But Dosia with you. Incendiary is going to be tossing that onto the site. Not quite able to get the kill, and there's Tau close range. Gambit finally get a CT round, and then our economy is wiped clean.
If Dosia had thrown that Molotov maybe 1 or 2 seconds earlier with the 6 HP on the bomb planet, that would have been the round. There's so many small things in that round that could have gone differently. PHR with his entry onto the bomb site actually got a flash the instant he got the opening pick. If that flash had come 1 second earlier, there was nothing he could do. So there's all these small things right now in this game. But AGO are getting all the margins with them. Every single little thing they can get, they're going to get it. And now, once again, we talk a lot about economy, but look at the CT side. It's a UMP on Mo. Only 1 kit on him. No Molotovs to see just yet. Actually, 2 UMPs. And it's round 14 for AGO. This is very, very tough for Gambit.
This is their last lifeline. Some of it off the back of going for that double op setup that we discussed and didn't really work out for them too well. So do or die for Gambit on overpass. I'm not going to have too many better opportunities than this. Again, we saw previously when they were up against it, they played very aggressively in bathrooms. 2-player stack is looking like more of the same here. I'm not sure that AGO will fall for it twice. It was Snatchy that was caught from Mo, playing on long aggressively. Seized decides to go straight through the door. And that is a freebie of a kill. That's the best start AGO could have hoped for.
Yeah, usually that door play comes with a flash timing from the player on short, and then you can actually get something to go with it. I'm not sure what Seized, maybe he heard a step or something and he wanted to go in, that could be why. But it looked very strange. And also because Seized is such an intelligent player. Dosia though answers back, that's the AWP gone down for Snatchy. And Dosia has picked it up.
Oh, not quite landing that shot. Will be disappointed with almost knifing the air in frustration. Could have turned the tides of this round. Instead, it's going to be AGO that pounce for their second kill. Trent tossing the nade long range. It does do quite a lot of damage. Furlough knocked down to 11. But Dren is going to have some cavalry charging in. Dosia and Hobbit are both getting themselves killed. Dren from the side. Here comes Hobbit. Can he get the clutch? 1 bullet will do it onto Furlan. He's going to pick up Warp, but unbeknownst to him, a USP could have been good enough. And that is going to be AGO taking a 15-9 lead. You hate to see that.
Furlan with the 4K and the deciding kill with 11 HP. Talk about clutch right there. 15 rounds on the board for AGO. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, the economy for Gambit now will only allow them to get C-sets and 1 UMP on Dosia. Even lacking utility as well. Flashbangs is, well, there's 2 on the whole team. This is rough. Looks like AGO will get their pick to go in this best of 3.
And it's looking very likely 6 rounds in which to pick up just the 1. Again, aggression in connect up. Player up on long for the CTs. And Mo is going to see action momentarily. Molotov was being primed, but hasn't been tossed just yet. They're going to be making sure the angles are clean. That timing is brutal. As soon as Mo looks away, he gets peaked. Fortunately for Gambit, though, Adren is able to pounce onto balloons, but he's been extinguished. Dosia with the UMP is going to keep the dream alive for the CTs. But he's been heavily damaged in the process, and they do get a UMP alongside it. So a 2-on-2, this in the realms of possibility.
See what they can do. Dosia has been on point so far this game. In this round, already 2 frags. Topping the scoreboard, and many of his frags have been in impact situations or clutches. Furlan and Grubby still alive, though. Dosia slowly moving into the side where the T's are. Doesn't get that.
But Seized is going to wreak havoc onto Grubby. AK-47 trades hands. Furlan does have control of the bomb, and he's darting straight to A. Has enough time to pull this off. It's going to be close, but he'll get that. And now Seized has to make the track, and I think he's called this too, that it's going to be A. He realizes now what's up against him. Because he's trying to lock off the angles. As soon as that bomb's been planted, the smoke is going to land in his eyes. And so more than likely it's going to be a bank push, and Furlan's a step ahead. It's going to come down to the trade. Furlan sprays down, and HGO will be successful in their choice of map. We head to train at HGO 1-0 in the lead.
Furlan had such a good game here on Overpass. 24-17 scoreline for him. And really showing up like he's been showing up all tournament long, I feel like. He's one of these players then, if you look at his stats, if you look at his demos, how he generally plays, he's not like the obvious star player, but he will show up when he's needed to. And this is where he shows up now in these games at DreamHack Open Tour. And they've done the first map now. The second one is Train, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the fun thing about the map pool between these two, because they share Overpass and Train as secondary picks. They can both do in this kind of scenario. So Train, yes, Gambit have very got on it, but it's not obvious like a game that will go to them.
Yeah, and it's a map where you're expecting, you know, the good old star players to shine, and they did have moments of very quiet periods there, you know. It was kind of disappointing, but at the end of the day, Train up next. AGO win their choice of map. We're moving across to a map that you expect Gambit to be very solid on. I don't think this best of 3's done just yet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how Mo's going to do, and I hope you all are as home. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with Train. See you then.